everyone, welcome back to the channel, and I just watched Joker 2 or Joker Folie À Deux. Before I say anything about this movie, I think I need to give my overall thoughts on the first Joker movie. I didn't like it that much. I know I'm in the small minority of people that really was just not a fan of the first Joker movie. To me, the movie was just very underwhelming, and as a Joker origin story, I thought it was very, whatever. It's competently directed and it's very well acted, especially the performance by Joaquin Phoenix is great in it. But other than that, to me the movie just kind of felt flat and it felt pointless by the end. And I'll be honest, going into Joker 2, I was not very excited, but again, that has to do with the fact that I was just not a big fan of the first Joker movie. But enough of that, what did I think about Joker 2 or Joker Folie À Deux? Well, let me just say this. If you were a fan of that first Joker movie, you are not going to like this. Now, if you were like me, who wasn't a big fan of the first Joker movie, you're also not gonna like this. In conclusion, I don't know who this movie's for. I have not come out of a movie so puzzled in quite a while, if I'm being completely honest. I went into this with neutral expectations, not really going into it expecting to not like it or expecting to love it. I just went in very neutral as somebody, again, that has not the best relationship with the first movie, but still wanted to give it a chance either way. It felt like the movie slapped me right in the face. Now, a slap in the face is light compared to what this movie does to you. Now, you might be saying, dude, you're over-exaggerating. You're just saying this because you didn't love the first Joker movie. You're just trying to hate. You're just trying to bring this movie down. You don't fucking know me if that's what you think about me, and if that's how you think I review movies. I go into every single movie, even if a movie did not give me the best impression from a trailer, I don't care. I always go into a movie with neutral expectations. In this case, I came in with neutral expectations, and I came out really baffled for why I fucking sucked. And I need to clarify that when I mean baffled, I do not mean this in a positive way. Oh no, there is nothing positive to say about this movie. This shit was fucking atrocious. This movie makes you feel zero emotions for anything that's happening on screen, because it almost feels like the people that are making it are too focused on something else that they don't have the time to even give enough attention to what's happening on screen. I know it might be hard to understand what I'm trying to say, but let's put it this way. The first movie is about how society treats people with mental disabilities. Joker 2 is about how society takes advantage of those people, puts them on a pedestal, and the consequences that come with having these people at such a high regard. And while I wasn't a big fan of the first movie, at least when I saw it, I knew what it was trying to do and say. Now yes, it's a complete fucking ripoff of a lot of Martin Scorsese's work. In fact, the best way I could describe that first Joker movie is baby's first Martin Scorsese film. And while Joker 2 has some pretty ambitious ideas, it never does a fucking thing with any of the things that it's trying to even say or set up. It is just a completely jumbled mess. The characters are less interesting. Performances are surprisingly very inconsistent throughout this thing. While it might be decently directed, the movie does lack a bit of a vision, and by the end it just feels like it's not trying to do much, or when it's trying to do something, it can't go all the way in on it because it's afraid of scaring audiences, or it's afraid that it might alienate some people, or it's afraid of, I don't know what this movie's afraid of. The first movie was clearly afraid of nothing, but maybe that's because it was taking a lot from Martin Scorsese. Maybe that's why. And now that they have nothing to base this movie on, they just kind of went, oh fuck, what do we do? And the musical element of this film is legitimately fucking insultingly embarrassing. It is god awful. The songs are not good. The singing is actually really bad. It's terrible in some places, especially surprisingly from Lady Gaga, who's a great actress and singer, so that was shocking. The production of the musical numbers was very lackluster and really lacked any sort of creativity, and the transition between normal dialogue and singing is so unnatural that it just feels that people out of nowhere just randomly start singing because fuck it, it's a musical. I guess that's how musicals work. This movie does not understand how musicals work, which now makes a lot more sense that anytime somebody that was involved in this movie talked about the musical aspect of the film, they always said, well, it's not really a musical. It has musical elements, and anytime you described any of these elements, it's like 101 musicals. Like, it's the basic shit that anybody should know about what goes into making a musical. To start with at least one positive, again, some of the performances are sometimes good, but again, like I said, a lot of it is inconsistent. The two best performances in the movie are from Lady Gaga and this Gary character. The Gary character was in the first movie. He was kind of Arthur's, aka Joker's, best friend in the first movie. In this movie, there's a scene with both of them in a courtroom that is legitimately powerful and absolutely outshines Joaquin Phoenix. Like, this Gary actor, like, goddamn fucking amazing. He again outshines Joaquin Phoenix, which is impressive in and of itself. Lady Gaga is great in this, but the problem with her is that she's barely in the fucking movie, and most of the time when she is in a scene, she's barely talking normally. She's usually singing, and I get it, they're trying to take advantage of the fact that she's a great singer. I get it, but sometimes I just wanna hear her talk like a normal human being. This movie really underutilizes Lady Gaga, such a talented actress and singer that is just used for fucking nothing in this, is really infuriating. Joaquin, on the other hand, that is a completely different story, because this dude is either really good in this or really bad, like embarrassingly bad. This is the first time watching a Joaquin Phoenix movie where I legitimately questioned his acting abilities. I get it, I think he's a great actor, don't get me wrong, but something about him in this movie just really ticked me off. Like, sometimes he's really into the Arthur character and Joker character, and sometimes it feels like he could give less of a fuck about what he's saying or doing on screen. The writing here is somehow more embarrassing than it was in the first movie. The first movie didn't have the best dialogue, I'll be honest. A lot of it was very society, like the Joker society memes that came out around that time. Like, a lot of the dialogue in the first movie felt very much like that, but here it's somehow worse. Nothing that the characters are saying is interesting, and when they are trying to say something interesting, they completely undercut that stuff to do just what the first movie did. That is the biggest crime, or one of the biggest crimes that this movie does, is that half of the movie takes place at Arkham Asylum and on the courtroom. And I'm not saying that you can't do anything interesting with only these two locations. You can, but the movie never bothers to do anything with those. And the courtroom scenes are really boring and uninteresting because nothing interesting is happening. Nothing that the characters are saying is moving the plot forward. A lot of it is just, let's just talk about the first movie again. Oh, y'all remember this happened? Oh, do you remember this happened? Now, Arthur, you remember you did this. It's like, we know, we watched the first movie. Like, if you were worried that you needed to go watch the first movie before watching this, oh, don't worry, this movie covers that for you, okay? This movie does that job for you because it is constantly reminding you of what happened in the first movie. Like, goddammit. And they say the recent Ghostbusters movies are filled with nostalgia. This shit is not even that old, and it's very, remember this about Joker 1? Remember that about Joker 1? I remember that about Joker 1. Again, the movie's decently directed, but again, not a lot of it really has that much creativity or something inspiring behind it. A lot of it just feels like we're trying to replicate a Martin Scorsese movie or a David Lynch movie, but with a DC character, and it's like, this is just not doing it for me. That's what I mean when I say that I don't know who this movie is for, because if you're a fan of the first Joker movie, this movie does everything in its power to overwrite everything that first movie did. Joker's character in this is a regression from what he was in the first movie. If you're like me who didn't like the first Joker movie, then you're just kind of sitting here being like, what the fuck am I doing here? I already know that this shit's bullshit. And if you're a fan of musicals, you're not going to enjoy this because the movie does everything in its power to do everything music related to be as bland as possible in this film. So by the end, you're just scratching your head saying, what was the point of this? And that ending, oh my god. I mean, this movie is so insultingly nothing that the ending didn't make me mad, but it did make me say out loud, what? I can't. I'm done. I'm done. This movie, the more I talk about it, really, the more I'm just like, why the fuck am I wasting my time talking about this shit? You wanna go watch a good movie? Go watch Transformers 1 and The Wild Robot. You wanna have a good time in the movie theater? Go watch those two movies. Those are movies very much well worth your time. Again, I'm not here to tell you what to like and what not. This is just me giving my honest to God opinion. And boy, I'm just telling you, this shit is not good. It is not good. It lacks basic filmmaking skills. This movie just kind of solidified to me that Todd Phillips is kind of a fucking hack. If you like it, that's fine by me. If you don't like it, fine, whatever. I don't give a shit. I'm just telling you that from my perspective, this shit was a complete waste of time and was not worth sitting through. If I would give Joker 2 or Joker Folie À Deux a rating, it would definitely be a 2 out of 10. I know it might seem harsh, but really, if you watch the movie and you see what I see, you'll probably understand where I'm coming from. If you love the movie, that's completely fine. If you just think it's alright, that's completely fine. But bitch, I'm talking about me. This is how I feel. But anyways, what do you think of Joker 2 or Joker Folie À Deux? I'm really tired of saying that shit. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Or are you just kind of in the middle? Let me know down in the comments. I really want to know what you guys think about it. And like always, good day, good night, and stay safe.